Hello friends, welcome to our channel Knowledge Amplifier. And today in this particular video, I am going to start DynamoDB, which is one of the very popular service provided by AWS. Okay, so let us first try to understand what is DynamoDB. That is, DynamoDB is a hosted NoSQL database offered by Amazon Web Service or AWS. Okay, so it is not our traditional RDBMS. It is kind of MongoDB type NoSQL database, right? So what is NoSQL database? What is its advantage, right? What is its disadvantage? If you want to know all these details, you can check this particular video tutorial by Gaurav Sen. That is Introduction to NoSQL Database. I'll be providing the link of this video also in the description box. He has explained in a beautiful way with in-depth intuition and examples what is the concept of NoSQL database. Okay, so that will help you to understand this particular AWS service, which is DynamoDB, right? Because DynamoDB is nothing but NoSQL database only. That is, its elements will be kind of JSON data. Okay, you might have worked on JSON. That time you can easily understand this DynamoDB part also. Okay, so what are the main features of DynamoDB if you consider? That is, number one is designed with elasticity keeping in mind. Okay, that is, auto scaling is there. It will scale up and down based on requirement. So in big data scenarios, you can use this particular one. It can be a good choice. Okay, second one is it replicate the data in multiple regions automatically. Okay, that is automatic multi-region replication. Okay, so as this particular data is replicated in multiple regions, so it will make sure that the data is highly available also. So these are most important features of DynamoDB. Apart from that, high throughput, very high speed in read and write, all these features are there. I'll be discussing about all those in details in my upcoming sessions. But let us first try to understand the fundamental concept and basic terminologies related to DynamoDB. Okay, so I hope up to this it is clear to you what are the main features. Okay, now let us directly go to basic table components. So as I have told you that it is nothing but a NoSQL database. So like if you consider in our traditional database system, there is a database server. Okay, and under that particular database server, there are multiple databases, right? Under that database, there are multiple tables. Under one table, there are multiple rows, and each rows basically formed by different column components, right? That kind of architecture, hierarchical architecture, is present in our database system. Similarly here, what is the system? Let us first try to understand. Okay, so in DynamoDB, there is a table which is same like our relational database, you can consider. Okay, right? And there is something called item, which is equivalent to a row in a relational database. Okay, and there is something called attribute, which is equivalent to column in a relational database. Okay, so in DynamoDB, instead of column, we will call attribute. Instead of row, we will call item, and table will be table only. Okay, multiple attributes will form one item, like multiple columns form a row, multiple rows form a table. Similarly here in DynamoDB, multiple items will form a table. That's it. Okay, I hope you got the idea, just terminology difference. And make sure when you are working with DynamoDB, you use the proper terminology. Instead of item, don't use row. Instead of attribute, don't use column. Use the proper name itself. That way, it will be good to communicate with other data engineers or software developers also. And that will be good with respect to the naming convention also. Okay. So for example, if you consider this particular JSON data, it is having kind of key value pair, right? Name is Bob, age is 26, company is this particular one, position is DevOps. So this is kind of dictionary architecture if you are aware of Python, right? And this we also call as JSON data. Okay, so this whole set, okay, here curly bracket opens, here curly bracket close. This particular whole thing is called a row of DynamoDB table. Okay, that is nothing but item. Okay, this whole thing is called item. And what I told you just now, multiple attributes form one single item. Like in our relational database system, multiple columns form a row, right? Similarly here, if you consider this particular item, it contains multiple key value pair. Individual values are nothing but attribute. So like name is an attribute, age is an attribute, company is an attribute, position is an attribute. All these values together making a single row of our DynamoDB table, that is our item. Okay, right? So I hope this particular thing, item and attribute, is clear to you. And I have told you, right, there is multiple rows in a relational database creates table. Similarly, multiple items in DynamoDB creates table. So this is one item. Similarly, there can be multiple items. You can see here one curly bracket open and here curly bracket close. After that, comma is there. So this particular entity is one item. Then after that, this is another item. Then again, comma is there. This is another item. Then here, this is another item. Like that, multiple items are forming one single DynamoDB table. Okay, right? I hope up to this the picture is completely clear to you. Now let us move to another concept. Okay, that is, recall the DBMS or database management system classes, whatever you studied in your BTech engineering course or in your work life. If you have done some work in database domain. Okay, there are two concepts. One is simple primary key. One is composite primary key. Simple primary key is unique identifier, one single entity which is representing a particular row uniquely, right? That is kind of unique identifier which should not be null and which should not be repeated, right? And what is composite primary key? That is nothing but two different columns together if they are making a unique combination in the table. That time we call that as composite primary key. Okay, that is one particular column value might be repeated. So what we do, we combine that with another column, and together the pair should not be repeated throughout the table, right? That is called composite primary key, right? So this concept is present in DynamoDB also. So let us first try to understand about simple primary key. Okay, so what is that? Simple primary key, like same like our RDBMS primary key. Okay, one particular column which should be unique and non-null. Similarly, here in DynamoDB, simple primary key means one particular attribute must be present in all the items, right? And it should be unique. Okay, other attributes may change because you know, right, that in NoSQL database it is not having a fixed schema. But if you are having a primary key as attribute, then it must be present in all the items. Okay, you cannot create item without this primary key. Okay, and in DynamoDB we basically use this particular primary key for partitioning also. So what is that? If you have done some work in a Hadoop distributed file system or any big data related technology, you might know that what is called partitioning, bucketing and all. So that same partitioning concept is present in DynamoDB also. So if you consider we are having a table and that table is having a particular attribute called maybe name. Okay, that time what is the condition? That particular name attribute should not be repeated in any two items, and that particular attribute must be present in all the items. Okay, like for example, one particular item is having name Bob, another one is having this name, another one having this name Emma, like that. Okay, now what happens? DynamoDB internally in the backend, based on some particular algorithm, it apply hashing kind of thing and store different data based on their primary key in different partition. Okay, that is Bob, this is the primary key, right? It will be acting like partition key also. So it will go to one particular partition. Okay, Rebecca, it will go to another partition. Emma, it will go to another partition, like that way it will happen in the back end. Okay, that is, you can consider in simple way, simple primary key if you are using in your DynamoDB, that itself will work like partition key. Okay, and if you are using composite primary key, then there are two things. One is partition key, one is sort key. So what is that? Suppose you are having a table which is having composite primary key. So one will be partition key based on which partitioning will happen. Like for example, you are having three items having the common name Bob, and name is the partition key. Okay, or name is the attribute based on which we are doing partitioning. Okay, so as they are having same name, so all of them will go to same partition, right? Then in composite primary key approach, we keep another key which is called sort key. So when the three different data are going to same partition, then how they are arranged inside that partition? Based on sort key. Okay, it will be arranged in sorted format, like 23, 26, 55. Like in ascending or descending order, it will be stored in the partition. Like that, this particular partition key and sort key together is making unique identifier for our DynamoDB table. Okay, that also another possible scenario. right? So that should not be repeated, that combination should not be repeated for any other item. So the same concept almost, just partition key and sort key, I hope you understood. So with this, some fundamental terminologies we understood with respect to DynamoDB, one of the very popular service provided by AWS. Now let us directly move to data types. Okay. So in DynamoDB, there are mostly three important classification of data type. One is scalar value, which is having one single value. Okay. One is document type, which is having multiple values of different data types. Okay. That is in same variable or in same attribute, there will be string, there will be Boolean data, there will be integer data, like that. Okay. And there is another data type called set. Okay. I hope you have already studied set in your data structure algorithm course. That is, in that particular data elements or set of data, it should not be repeated. All should be unique values, right? So set theory we have studied in our mathematics course also. The only condition in set data type is multiple values will be there, but they all should have same type. Okay, that is multiple strings, distinct strings, okay, can make one set. It is not possible that one string, one integer type, one Boolean type will make a set. Okay, right? That you just keep in mind. And obviously set stores the distinct values, right? So these are the major three classifications of our data type in DynamoDB. Mostly widely these are the data types available, and these are their notation. For string type we use S, for number type we use N. Okay, so if you see, there is string type and number type, these are scalar values, it will hold only single value. List type, it will contain list. Okay, this will come under document. Okay, so that means multiple values of different types you can store in list. One can be string, one can be Boolean, one can be integer, like that. Okay, then there is called map type. So map type you can consider like dictionary key value pair, nesting can be available, and that notation is M. Okay, here also you can put different data type data also. That is, map type also comes under this document type. Then there is binary type. Okay, binary type generally stores binary data that can be image, encrypted text file, and all these things like blob object, like that. Okay, then there is Boolean type. So here the notation is BOOL. So earlier in all of these data type, we use the first character, but if you see for binary type also it is B, for Boolean type also it is starting with B. So for both of them we cannot keep same notation. So what we did, that is, we are giving the notation bool for Boolean type. Okay, for null type it is null. Why we are giving complete thing? Because N is already used for numeric type. Okay, right? And then sets, I already told that set will contain same data type. Okay, but multiple values it can have. Okay, you can consider set as list of same data type. Okay, like that. So that in that list all elements can be string. That time we will say that SS, that is string set. Okay, in that particular list of elements which are forming the set, all can be numbers. That time we will give the notation NS, that is number set. Okay, if all the elements are binary, then we will call that as BS or binary set, like that. Okay, so with this, our fundamental idea about data type also clear with DynamoDB. Now without any further delay, let us directly jump into lab section. So there are a lot of things to learn in this DynamoDB service. I will cover them slowly by slowly, but let's first try to understand some fundamentals and make our hands dirty with this particular service first. Okay, so here I will go to DynamoDB, I will go to tables, and here I will create a table. Okay, enter the name, first demo YT. Okay, like this, some name I am giving. Now see here, partition key and sort key is coming. Okay, partition key is part of table's primary key. It should be unique. If you want, you can keep sort key also, right? Okay, so it is second part of table's primary key, which will make kind of composite key. Now primary key, the partition key can be either only string type, number type, or binary type. It cannot be map type, list type, Boolean type, like that. Okay, it should be among these three only. Okay, so partition key, let me give the name as ID. Okay, capital I, small d. Okay, now what is the setting? I am keeping currently default setting to make the things simple. I am not specifying any sort key. So this is kind of simple primary key concept I am explaining. And here, without creating any tags, I will create the table. So this is the simplest way to create a table. And here the status is now creating. It will take some time to create the table. Okay, let us wait for that. you can keep on doing refresh. So see, here our table is created. Okay, here it is active. Okay, so here it is telling creating the first demo YT table. It will be available shortly, and now it is successful. You can refresh that and it is done. So I will click on this particular table and I will insert some data. Okay, so here you are seeing that multiple tabs are available. What is their functionality? I will be discussing all those, right? So here if I click on view items, so I have told you, right, items is nothing but a row of the table. So currently no data is present, so it is showing nothing. I can go to actions or I can go to create item, and here basically we can put the data either in terms of a form or in terms of JSON data. Okay, so first let us go with form option. So here first we need to put ID. Okay, so ID I am putting Bob. Okay, right, it is string type. I am adding another attribute. So what is the data type we want to insert? Maybe that is number. Okay, that is salary. Let us insert. Okay, so salary is 10,000. Okay, right, I want to add another attribute that can be a string type. Okay, so I will put the name company, and here I will put the value as ABC. Okay, I will add another attribute. Now I want to add maybe map type. Okay, that is map is a kind of nested dictionary, nested JSON data. I will put address here. Okay, right, and then here inside that I can put multiple fields. So first field I want to put a string. Okay, that address I want to put maybe city. Okay, city I will put as maybe Kolkata, and then here I will put another field inside that is also string type, state. Okay, I can put West Bengal, right, and another item I can put this string type maybe pin, some random number I am giving. Okay, right, so this is kind of address will be having this kind of key values inside that kind of nesting, and these are the direct values. Okay, so I can click on create item. Okay, so here my item will be created, right? So here you can see, if you want you can download that also as CSV file, and if I open that you will see the data how it is storing. Okay, so it will open like this way, and then here you can see that it is having ID, company, salary, and the address part. Okay, now suppose I want to insert another data, and instead of form this time I want to show you how to insert using JSON data. Okay, so here you can see some part is already written. Here it is giving the ID part, because ID obviously should be present in all the items, right, because it is a primary key. Okay, so it is giving S. So what is S? I have already told you, right, that is S is nothing but indicating string type. Okay, so like that we have to write, first we have to write the key, then colon, then inside curly bracket we have to first specify the data type, then colon, then the value. Okay, maybe I will give the name as Soham. Okay, ID is Soham, then I will give comma, let me make this bigger. Okay, and then here I will give another. Okay, so another key is salary, right, and here salary I will give colon, and then I need to put the data type first. So what is the salary part? I have shown you, right, salary part is nothing but integer type. Okay, for integer what is the data type notation? That is n. Okay, so I will choose n, and then colon I can specify the value 15,000. Okay, so here whatever we are getting, the number should begin with quotation marks. Okay, right, so I will be giving quotation marks here also. Okay, right, and then here I will give another comma, and then here I will give address. Okay, so then colon, then inside that address is nothing but map type, right, so map type is denoted with M. You can see here map type is M. Okay, right, and then inside that the value, in the value part how we defined, There is inside that there is pin, there is state, there is city, like that. Okay, so maybe I will give pin only, map type, and then here I will give pin. P is small letter or capital letter? Small letter, right? Pin, and then I'll give colon. Then pin is also string type, and then here I will be giving one pin. Okay, right? So basically what I am telling, address part is there, inside that map it is a map data type, inside that pin is basically one particular value, so this particular value should be enclosed inside one curly bracket, and then pin, and that should be string type, and this is the string. Okay, right, and then let's create the item. Okay, so here item is created, as you can see. Now if I go to actions and download result in CSV file, here it will be downloaded, and see here, that is Soham, this particular data don't contain company, so it made no effect. Okay, that's what the beauty of NoSQL database. Even the address part, proper structure as it is not maintained for two data, right? Okay, so this is how you can insert the data in your DynamoDB. I hope you have understood this. This is all for this video. Thank you.